Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Pen and Dragon. I am Timothy Robert with my fellow host, Isaac Anderson, and we gave up Mike Cahoon today for two other Mikes. We have Mike Molman and Mike, it's Michael Vadney, right?
Vadney.
Okay, because Isaac confused me, and it makes me, now after last week's episode, when we mentioned your name, I just want to say Vadney, because it sounds like a line. So it was very tempting, but...
It's not the first time I've been called Vadney, so...
It's okay. I get called Robert by random people, and I still don't know how that happens, but...
Nice.
This is quickly becoming the Mike show.
It is. A lot of mics.
We're invading.
That sounds great.
Today we're going to start off on a quick topic, and then we will get into judgments, because both Mike and Michael are judges in separate contests, which is actually pretty awesome, and probably very different judging styles, so it'll be interesting to talk about. But before we get into that real quick, I just wanted to bring up something that's going on, especially surrounding the indie community, which is Amazon's new AI system, or whatever they're doing, of taking away reviews, like ripping them down real fast, taking them away, and being really harsh on them, actually. Even KU readers.
I haven't heard about this.
Yeah, even Kindle readers are having an issue with their reviews taken down. It's been about 10 days of it happening, I think.
Yeah. I gotta check on my babies. Are they still there?
It's only for new reviews. It's for new reviews coming, apparently. So I don't know if it's impacting old reviews. Like my new book, Flame, it just got a review from someone I don't even know. I know they got the book because they posted it, but I don't know them personally.
Mm-hmm.
And their review got taken down, I think, in like an hour. It was a very thorough review. A lot of indies, specifically on Threads, are talking about some of them have lost 20 reviews. Some of them have lost almost all of their reviews on their entire book.
Wow.
And Kindle users have been reporting that they've been blocked from reviewing or something that I saw, which is kind of crazy.
So what is happening exactly? Like, they have an AI moderator on these reviews, and they're just being ripped down because
is the AI doing like quality control? Like,
it sounds like anything that's not fully verified. So obviously, I mean, Amazon's always ripped down ARC readers. It's always been a thing, but some have slipped by, like 50-50 usually. Now it's like almost 0% chance, apparently. KU readers, for some reason, are having an issue with leaving reviews. I don't know if it's because it's not registering as a verified purchase or not. And then even this one was even mine was verified, and it still got taken down. So I don't really know why. I actually messaged Amazon and they were like, it just went against our quality. And I was like, how? And they were like, I will get back to you in 24 hours. And then it's been 48 hours and nothing. So
we'll ask the AI why it didn't.
Yeah.
I assume it's their implementation of some AI system, but I mean, they haven't come out and said anything, so I don't know. I just see all these other authors talking about it. I think her name is Ty on Twitter. She writes poetry. I'd have to go look because I'm bad with names, but she also just lost a bunch of her reviews.
Okay.
Yikes.
So is Amazon trying to remove paid for reviews or robot reviews? Because I could see that being a problem. I could see someone paying some robot to leave a bunch of reviews on their book and spike that up. So is Amazon trying to fight AI with AI?
I mean, they're always trying to do that, aren't they? I don't know. It seems weird because you'd think they would go after like bigger accounts, but it seems like a lot of smaller accounts are being impacted, which is more weird because, like, why do you care about someone that has 5 reviews?
Well, we better train the AI on the small guys before we touch the big guys and get someone really important angry.
It's true.
That could be a valid strategy that they're going for. It's annoying.
That's honestly what I would do if I was in charge of the AI division. I would put on my evil hat and say, let's go after some of these small fries. Nobody knows their name. No one will hear their screams.
Someone said, if I did hear today, because I was talking to other people about it, and one of the people said that allegedly, I don't know if this is true, this is what I was told, that the lengthier reviews are being targeted more. So the lengthier and more in-depth the review, the more it is likely to pop up against the review, like by
That
Amazon.
doesn't make sense though. Like,
I know.
why? What is the reasoning behind this? That's punching my mic. That would be my question. Is like, what is the justification that these are being pulled down for? Because what you're describing, that's like the opposite of what we want. We want the in-depth reviews.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
and you would think it would flag like a 2-word review, but apparently those are more likely to skate by, according to what I've heard. I don't know, because Amazon still hasn't said anything about this. So
I'm definitely gonna have to do some research after we get off this call.
So, as someone who works for a big bloated company that doesn't know what they're doing, this makes perfect sense that they would do like this is opposite of what makes sense. So clearly, this is what we're doing. I'm not shocked at all by this. Trust me.
Mike Molman's actually the one behind it. But so aside from that, because none of us know anything about it really, other than what I just spouted out, we can get into judging. So if each of you want to take turns, tell us.
But before we get into that, we were talking about something in the before show that I thought was worth digging into a little bit. So we were talking about the difference between the modern way to write a beginning and the classic way to write a beginning. So back in the before times, we would build up the characters, build up the world. It'd be like chapter 3 or 4 before something, dramatic happened. Nowadays, chapter 1, man enters the room with a gun. You got to start right away. But Timothy was saying that you don't have enough time to get to know the characters and really care about the danger. So, and then Michael said that there is a fine balance, and he was about to explain the fine balance. And I want to hear the fine balance between introducing characters and introducing action and not waiting too long to do either.
Yeah, because you need something to be happening in the story to be interesting. Like Timothy, even the example that you gave before the show was talking about the Wheel of Time, how it's a bit of a slower roll. But even in the beginning of the Wheel of Time, Rand has immediate problems. They're small problems, but he has immediate problems with Egwene and his friends and trying to make his dad proud and all these things. He has things that he's immediately trying to do while the world is being introduced to you. But if we would have started that story with Rand al'Thor is in a sword fight with an Aiel man, we'd be like, who the hell are all these people? Like, we don't care who is in this fight because we have no investment. That's like overcorrection of the problem. So you need to find this middle ground, which I think the Wheel of Time does, even if it is slower for like modern sensibilities for readers, where you have immediate problems that characters are trying to solve while still slowly introducing the world, the village that Rand is from, and the outlining area around it before we eventually get into the bigger things of like the Aes Sedai and the what are they called? I can't remember what Land Mandragoran's title is called. Ward? Something like that. But anyways, like as the story progresses, you get introduced more and more to the world, but the story itself is about Rand and trying to figure out how to make Egwene his girlfriend, essentially, in the very beginning.
It's Warder, by the way. I think
Warder.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
I think you're right to some extent. I mean, there are those minute issues, but still to the modern, I mean, if you look at most modern readers, most of them are scared of the Wheel of Time for everything that it entails. I mean, also the millions of words. Yeah, it's a huge series. I think, well, we know on social media, most people are like a series over 3 books. I don't know if I want to take that on. And as someone that's been reading the Wheel of Time for 1.5 years now, it is daunting in some ways, but
it takes a while.
The slowness is rough in it. I think, I went to school for literature, so I'm used to that kind of writing for the most part. But I also think there's something very endearing about the slow episodic way, something like the Wheel of Time, and I'm sure maybe Mazatlan or whatever. I haven't read it, but I'm sure it's like that because it's also huge. This slow, like episodic, you get into it. You have to pick through it and like kind of walk through it. It's not a rush through. It's not to the modern pacing. I don't think it follows the modern pacing guidelines. But
when Wheel of Time came out, were people thinking it like, oh, this is modern? Because it came out in the 80s, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they were because TV was still like, I mean, in the 80s, still only like 50% of people had TVs, right, or something.
Yeah. Because it starts way faster than Lord of the Rings does.
Was it? Whatever. But there wasn't there's only so many shows. I mean,
Mike, tell us, you were there.
yeah,
As
that's
a
true.
teenager in the 80s, I can tell you I would go to Walden Books all the time, and I was horrified. I'm like, oh my God, there's another one of those huge blue books. It never stops. So I never ever picked. I was like, oh my God, no, I'm not reading something. I'm like, oh my God, there's 2 of them. There's 4 of them. I'm like, it's like rabbits. I was like, God, stay away.
Well, you also
so,
probably
yeah.
picked it up and were like, nope, too many pages.
Yep.
No, I used to read really thick books
Really?
once upon a time. Read a lot of James Michener, and his story doesn't get started till like page 300. So,
Oof.
Well, neither does Robert Jordan's half the time. So, Mike, real quick before we get into judging and stuff, then, what was it like to run the TVs that you had to like press the button in and like turn that weird little cranky knob? What was that like?
well, you didn't
That
have to
wasn't that
press the
long
button. You
ago.
just had to crank. Just turn it. The big thing was the youngest person in the room had to like move the
Antenna?
antenna.
rabbit ears so you'd get better reception, and that was always the youngest kid had to do that. So,
Well, we still had to do that because I grew up in the middle of nowhere, so we still
Yep.
had to do that, unfortunately, for our 3 channels that we had. But if we're done with that topic, guys, do you have any more to say about that before we go on to?
rabbit ears.
Nope. Just that I like it.
Okay, so well, we could go into rabbit ears all day. Me and Isaac are Redwall fans. That's easy.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, I can talk about rabbits.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're the
Bastards.
best part. So if each of you want to take turns, tell us real quick about what you're judging, and then we'll go from there.
Michael, go first.
Yeah, I'll go first. I'm on Team Fanfiatic for Spiffbo 11. Is the self-published fantasy blog off is what it stands for. This is the 11th iteration for it. We actually just announced our team's finalists today. It was pretty exciting
Wow.
to put that all on the internet. But how that contest works for people who are not aware is 300 books are randomly selected from everyone that applies. A bunch of blogs get 10 blogs get 30 books each, and they have to narrow it down to one finalist. Then all the blogs read all the finalists, and we all vote and pick a winner for who won Spiffbo that year.
How many finalists get through?
There are 10 finalists,
Oh, wow.
one for each blog.
So all of you have to read all the 10 books.
So each team does it differently, but for the finalists, everyone is supposed to be reading the finalists. So for instance, on here for Team Fanfiatic, we have, wow, I don't have the exact number. We have like 5 or 6 people in our group, and we have 30 books. And what we did is we broke the books up by allotment between all of us for like, all right, you're going to read this many, you're going to read this many, you're going to read this many. And we all have a unified rubric that we decided, all right, we're all going to judge the books based off these categories so that we're all doing it on roughly the same terms. And if there was ever a book that came up where it's like, guys, you need to read this one too, it's probably going to be one of our semifinalists. And then we all read the semifinalists and figured out which ones we were going to cut and which ones were going to make it to each team has their semifinalists, and we were deciding which ones were ours. And then once we got our semifinalists, we all read those. We all talked about them, which ones we thought were like stronger in some regards versus others. And eventually, like earlier today, we announced who our finalist was, which was No More Levels by Benjamin Breath.
Okay. Oh
What
yeah, I
makes
saw
an
that.
entry strong?
It's the one of the rhino, right?
Yeah. It's the cover is a boy on an electric rhino running through. But what makes an entry strong? There's a lot of things. It's definitely different for every single judge. And we're seeing that as a team, we kind of balance each other as we desire different things. But for us, we were judging it on, we picked 5 categories. We did plot, characters, world, prose and pacing, and then just pure enjoyment. And those were the 5 categories that we judged all the books on. We'd give them numbers for all those things, average those numbers out, and talk to each other about like, I don't know, I thought this one was really good, or I thought this one needed a little more effort on this area over here. And it was just really fun to debate all these different books, and honestly, super hard to rank them when we started getting into the semifinalists because it was getting pretty close.
Me and Mike Molman should be co-judges because we're so vastly different. It would be hilarious.
Yeah, they'd all end up at 5, 5, 5, out of 10 because
Yep.
one of us would give it 10 and the other would give it 0.
Mike
I'm
would
just
DNF
saying.
and I'd be like, I read the whole thing in a night.
Sometimes that does happen. We had a few books where just some of us felt very strongly about it and some of us felt very strongly the other way. But that's the nice thing about having a team, being able to balance it out and have that debate.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, Mike, tell us yours because you guys are on very different contests. Yours is the first time contest versus an 11
So
time.
I just want to point out that, Michael comes on well dressed. He's, well connected. He's in the premier fantasy competition. He's a judge. And then there's me. You see how I'm dressed.
You look
We
great,
are
Mike.
in IBOR, which is the indie blog off remnants, because isn't that inspiring? And ours is set up almost completely different. So because it was very much after Smithbow picked theirs, and it was within a week, we set it up in, well, I shouldn't say we, Corey Ratliff, who deserves all kinds of credit because he set this up almost on his own with his willpower. And so what it was is every judge is going to read 3 books, and you put one through as a semifinalist. And then once you get to the semifinals, each book is going to be read by 3 or 4 people of the judges, and we all have a rubric. We're going to score it, based on that rubric, and then from there you'll go to the finalists, and then we'll all read the finalists. And although I think 3 judges dropped out after the first round because they're like, "This is more than I thought, and I'm busy." So
It is a lot.
it is a lot.
I was going to ask how tedious it is to be a judge, because I know I've talked to people about judging and all I hear is I don't have any time to write or do anything because it's just my time off is trying to read these books and judge them.
Yeah.
Take it away, Mike.
So I mean, it's a little easier on me than it was for Michael or his team because I had 3 books to read. I had 3 months to read them. I DNF'd 2 of them.
Huh.
I actually only finished the shortest one, which was 240 pages. But I mean, honestly, it was the best of the 3 books. And now I have 3 books I have to read, and I have 3 months to read them. Well, 1 month's gone, and I haven't really started yet. But anyway, 2 months left to read 3 books. But now it's not just one person's opinion will make or break your book. It's actually going to be averaged between many people. So I like that better. We're not having like the talk across, like debating books like your team did, Michael, which I think would be a lot of fun.
Mhm.
But again, when you're like on a shoestring and, hey, we're going to make this competition, it's starting in 2 weeks. We have nothing set up at all. Hats off to Corey. He's crazy for undertaking this. So
I feel like that would be my favorite part, is being able to like cross-pollinate, is like to debate books. I feel like that'd be, as a person that's reading the Wheel of Time, I mean, I've been nerding out and DMing Michael about it. It's the most we've ever talked about Wheel of Time because nobody I know has like gotten beyond book 4, so I can't nerd out about it. So I feel like with the judging contests, that's one thing I would love, is to be like, hey, what do you like about this book? Let's talk about it. And that's one thing I miss about university, is being able to have that core group and being able to dissect books and being able to be like, well, that opinion is stupid to me, but I get it. It's cool.
I feel like that's half the reason all of us podcast, is so that you can talk to other people about books.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But yeah, that's probably my favorite part of being part of Swiftbow, is just I'm going to, like, every book I read, I write a review for it. I think about it analytically just by default because I like the story craft. I like picking apart a book to figure out, like, why does this work for me? Why does it not work for me? And just really understanding that. So I'm going to do that regardless. But because I do that, I want people to talk to about it. I want to be like, oh, this scene was really cool, and this is why I thought it was amazing. Or like, man, they had a really good opportunity here to sweeten this scene, but they kind of fumbled it a little bit. And just having those experiences and bouncing those ideas off of other people, especially when I have an emotional reaction to a book that I don't understand why I have that emotional reaction, it's so much better, in my opinion, to be able to be like, hey, this is the vibe I was getting from the story and the pages, but I don't really know why. I don't understand why this is it, why I feel this way about it. How did you feel about it? And learning how other people interpreted a story has sometimes improved my own enjoyment of it.
That's pretty awesome. So what does it feel like? You're both indie authors. What does it feel like? Because you read for enjoyment. Well, I don't know about Mike Molman. I assume you do, Michael. You read for enjoyment. You read because you like to read, and you write because you love to write. So what is it like to judge your fellows? You're judging your peers, essentially, to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like to judge your peers? And I'm sure Mike Molman has fun with it. It seems like he has fun with it.
No,
To judge them and be like, hey, you're not passing, or hey, like, I didn't love your book. It must be hard because we all live on ratings. We all live on reviews. We all live on, we try to be positive and stuff, but there's only so positive you can be as a judge, right?
Yeah.
So what is it like to be like, hey, this book didn't work for me? How do you balance that? How do you balance that with your peers? How do you balance that with your judging? What is that like?
I would say it kind of just extends to just my personal review strategy in general. Is even if I don't like a book, there's something in here that somebody will like about it. And I want to find that. And that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be like, hey, these are the parts that didn't really work for me. But if you like these things, this book could be for you. It wasn't for me, but if you like military fantasy with fairies and a really sassy protagonist or whatever combination is in this book, you might really like this book. But because of these reasons, it didn't really work for me.
That book would be 1 star for me.
What are your usual deal breakers?
Why don't you go ahead, Mike?
So just to throw it out there is I don't care about reviews. I mean, I read them because you can learn, but and I don't want to get too far off track, but I do a lot of Comic-Cons with James Maxey. He released a book only in hardback. He sold over 120 copies in a year at $30 a pop, and it has exactly one review. Do you think he cares about reviews? So, I mean, I am not advertising because I don't know how to, and I'm just throwing money away. So reviews, they don't matter to me. What matters is when I go to Comic-Cons and I talk to people. So give me a 1 star, fine. Tell me why. I'd love to know why, because I do read them. And then I'll be like, well, that person's stupid. Well, this person, he got, I'm like, I was wondering when someone would figure that out because that's the weakest point of my book. And, and that's fine. But what was the question? I totally went off track.
When you're judging, what are like deal breakers? Like, I can't stand this, or this is too far one direction for me, or.
So before I start, because I was really nervous because I signed up like, yeah, you know what? I'll be a member of the community. I'll judge. And then I was like, oh God, I got to do this. I'm like, you know my reviews. I DNF all the time. So I saw something. Philip Chase put out like a 8-episode, him and somebody dragon from Scotland. They did a series like, how to judge. He's like, you're always going to have, if you like it or not, is going to be part, but there are objective things you can look at as well. Like, did they accomplish what they were trying to accomplish? And so I watched all those videos. I said, okay, I can do this. And then I got 2 books who I really just did not like.
We know. Anybody that read the reviews know very well that you did not like them.
I stressed over I'm like, okay, compliment sandwich, come up, but I mean, the 2 guys, God love them. I hope they keep writing, but they're both first-time authors, and they both really needed somebody with an experienced author to help them because the mistakes they made were like, I'm like, guys, you can fix this. But I mean, the one took Show Don't Tell to heart, and at page 200, he finally got to where the plot was going to start out of a 380-page book. And I know this because I read the back cover. And I was like, oh, that's what this is supposed to be about. I've read 200 pages, and I just now got to it. So, DNF, I'm sorry. You do not get over 50% of the book to set up your world. And then the second one was just, it might have got good, but there was just so many meetings where it's like, and Michael and Timothy met me here at this thing, and we talked about something. And then I went over here, and Isaac was there with the Queen, and we talked about, and it's just lots of names. I'm like, give someone a limp, give them a bushy mustache somehow so I can remember who is who, because you're just throwing names at me in random rooms, and you're talking about stuff, and I don't know why any of it's important. And
That
so
is something I do think takes time to learn as an author. I think as a first-time author, I mean, I look back at Tales 1 and I do think there are places where I easily could have implemented more concrete details. And I think that's something you learn as you go on and progress. And I think that's why some of these contests are important, especially for first-time authors or for first books, to be like, oh yeah, I did fall short here. And I think, I mean, I do think your reviews were harsh as all heck, but I do
God, I
think that
tried so hard to make them nice.
but the thing is, I think sometimes those harsh reviews, especially for first books, even though they can destroy an author for the moment, I think they really do make us look deep down, right? And they make us attempt to be
Yeah.
better. Because there is something to be said about being torn apart by whether it's your professors, your peers, or just random readers. To some point, it's opinion. And to some point, you should be reflecting. To some point, you shouldn't take it so personally. You should get down. You can get emotional that someone hates your work. That's fine. But then you can be like, what did they say in here that actually I should self-reflect on? I should look at. And I think that's part of the cool part. So for you, Michael Vadney, how do you, with your reviews, it sounds like you're like, I like this. This worked for me. This might work for you, but it didn't work for me. Do you kind of gear that toward the author, or do you gear that more toward just the book into people that would be reading the book? How do you kind of steer that?
I definitely try to gear it more towards the reader because in general, reviews aren't really for the author. The author can learn a lot from reviews. I've read every single review that Crownfall has gotten, and I'm going to keep reading them because I am learning a lot from them that I can carry into my next project. And some of those things are, like you were saying earlier, are just opinions of, hey, this book wasn't for you because this isn't the type of book that you read. But there are things that come up in reviews where it's like, if multiple people are saying this and it's coming up again and again, maybe I should pay attention to that. But in general, I think reviews are for readers. They're for putting them out there for like, hey, this is what this book is about. This is what it does. If you like those things, you'll like this book. But if you don't like those things, you probably won't like this book. And it's a way for readers to save time. That's why reviews exist, is so that readers and other people can look at them and be like, oh, maybe I'm interested in checking out this book. Oh, it has these cool things that I love. I love dragons. Let's go check that out.
Okay, well,
So I
two-part
try
question.
to gear my review towards that. Sorry.
No, you're fine. That's great. We know that IBOR has a rubric because Mike informed us of this prior. Do you have a rubric, and are you allowed to are judges allowed to DNF for your contest?
Yes, judges can DNF, and my team has a rubric. There isn't a specific rubric for the whole contest. You do have to rate the books out of 10, but besides, how you get that rating system is very much up to which team your book is on. That's something that is a little bit like unique with Spiffbo for the contest itself, is like how far your book goes is partially due to which team gets your book. As the same case with any book with any reader, like sometimes it's just not the right time in that person's life to read that book, and they read it 5 years later and like, why did I hate this before? This thing can happen to any time for any team. That being said, I do think every book that makes it to like the semifinalists and the finalists and the winner, all those books are going to be like solid books because they had to go through a big rigmarole to get there. Like I was saying earlier, my team on Team Fanfiatic, we do have a rubric. We decided from the very beginning that we were all going to judge the books based off of this so that we could be consistent with each other and kind of just have agreed upon language for speaking with each other about these books so that we were all on the same page.
I like that. And Mike, everybody has the same rubric for IBOR, yes?
Correct. I hate it, but that's the rubric that everyone's going to use, so I'm going to use it.
Do you want to give us a rundown of it real quick, or at least like a glimpse of it?
Well, the biggest thing is 10% is based on the cover, and I just think that's stupid. I mean, and it's like 10% is enjoyment, 10% is what did you think of the prose, 10%. And I'm like, so basically, if you like it, you can make whatever you liked, even if you're like, well, this one had better characters, but I like this, It's like at the end of the day, it's your feelings, and having 10 different measurements at 10% each. I'm like, why would you weigh the cover as equal to the plot or the pacing? I'm like, no. I don't think it should be judged at all. But it was thrown together in 2 weeks or less. So I can't complain because I surely could not have done that, nor would I want to do that. I'm not that crazy yet.
No, what Corey did was pretty cool. I mean, he gave a chance to people that
Yeah.
a lot of people had their feelings hurt for no reason. I don't think it was right for people to have their feelings hurt. I get why they did. We're all indie authors. We all want to get noticed. We all want our 10 seconds that someone scrolls by our book and maybe buys it. But there was a lot of very, very hurt feelings when they call it the lottery, right? Or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lottery.
Yeah.
Because
so whenever the names got
they're
picked,
like,
Go
there's
ahead.
like hundreds, possibly thousands of people that apply to Spiffbo. And like I said, there's only 10 blogs. They only get 30 books. Only 300 books are going to get in. So they take everybody that applies, and it's just 300 picked at random because we're all human beings. This is all our secondary or third jobs that we have outside of everything else that we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So
It pays
we have to
nothing.
limit its amount. Yeah.
Or-
This is all volunteer work.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I mean, 2 years now. I mean, it's about 600 each of the last 2 years, people who applied, and about half got in.
Yeah.
And like clockwork, you can hear, it's not fair that you do it by blind lottery. I'm like, can you tell me a more fair way? Because that is about the most fair you can be when you randomize it.
I think it's the most fair because regardless of what people say, the book world in general, every world, but the indie world there are golden names and there are names that nobody knows. And a lottery is the best way to mitigate that, because if someone sees certain names, they're gonna be like, they're getting in no matter what. Because A, you want them to promote you back.
Right.
B, it gives you notice. So to me, a lottery is the best way to eliminate that. There's no favoritism. Everybody gets equal opportunity. It's fair. And people were very upset about it. I mean, I applied and I was like, okay, cool. Didn't get in. No biggie. I don't care.
You can always apply next year.
Yeah. And it doesn't it's not like a slap in the face. It's not unfair. There's nothing rigged about it. There's nothing like, hey, you didn't get in because I hated your cover. You didn't get in because I don't know who you are. It's just you didn't get the pick. I mean, I'm a climber and hiker on the West Coast. We have to apply for lottery. You don't get in, you don't get the climb. It sucks, but it's not like, hey, you don't get the climb because of who you are.
Yeah.
So, Michael, I have a question for you because they didn't stop me from asking questions. So for my first 3 books that I had, they were 3 authors who I've never met them. I don't know them. They haven't been on our show, which we've had like 350 authors on our show now. So that was, surprising actually. But I'm like, fine, I can read these. I can go in blind. I have no, there's no like friendships here. In the second set of books, I had 3. 2 of the authors we actually interviewed once a year or so ago. I'm not, good friends with anyone. So I'm like, you know what? I can be objective. Did you have anything where like people are like, I can't read this book because I know Tim Robert and I hate him and I'm going to give him 1 star?
No, we didn't have. Excuse me. We do have people in our allotment that some people on our team knew, and I have since gotten to know people that have been in our allotment, because once it becomes public knowledge to you and stuff like that, like people will follow you on Instagram, or because I'm putting out updates on both FanFi Addict for where my reviews are going and the whole team's reviews are going. I've been putting stuff up on Author Adjacent, where every time we did cuts, I would do a video going, these are our cuts, this is our finalists, this is why we made this decision. So I have gotten to know a lot of the people that were in our allotment, and I personally don't really find it difficult to separate that. They're nice people, but that is kind of part of the deal when you submit yourself to a competition. It is a difficult thing to do, and I even think it's a brave thing to do. But you are asking me to judge your book against other people's books, and you want me, you asked for this, to tell you which is better and which is worse. And that's what I'm going to do. I have no problem doing that. I'm not going to do this in a way that's going to be malicious or anything. Everything that I'm going to say is what I think is true, but also what I think will help your book find its readers. That's why I try to emphasize, even in my negative reviews, of like, this didn't work for me. I found the characters inconsistent. But if you really like world building and you love beautiful prose, this could be the book for you. I really tried to balance that out with like, hey, these are my really honest opinions, and some of them are subjective and some of them are objective. But this is who the book is good for. And I don't personally have a problem keeping that separation between like the author and the book, because in general, I think I'm helping.
Mike doesn't either, because in a DM, I was like, "Oh, you get to read that book, Mike. Let me know what you're thinking." He's like, "I don't even want to read it." I was like, not he didn't want to, but he wasn't as excited as I was. I was like more excited for him to read a book than he was. And it's funny how that works. And I think we talked about this before. I'm a gentle reader and gentle reviewer. I know a lot of indies. Isaac, for instance, I think, Isaac, you said this a week or two ago, that when you're reading, you still have your critical mind. You still have your editor mind, your writer mind.
I can't turn it off. Yeah. I'm always editing. I would make a very bad judge, because there are very few books I actually really enjoy. And usually they're all written in like the 70s. There are a couple modern ones I've read that I've really liked, but yeah, I'm hard to please.
And I'm easy to please. But the difference is, I mean, going to school for literature and stuff, you do critique each other. You highlight each other's papers. You're like, hey, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. So as a reader, I'm gentle. I think if you asked me to judge, I still would be gentle, because I'm still a very positive person and I still find enjoyment very easily. You can pretty much throw any book at me, unless there's tons of errors or unless it's like a really cringy sex scene. I'm pretty much going to enjoy it. But if I'm judging, I'm going to be a little more critical, obviously, and be like, well, like you said, like this part doesn't work for me. This part didn't work for me. It might work for the story or someone else, but for me, it didn't. When you're judging, is it different than you would normally judge a book? Are you reading more in depth? Are you reviewing more in depth than you normally would?
For me, no. Like I said earlier, I like to do this for my normal reading, because I like to dissect stories to figure out what makes them work. What are the strengths of this story that I can learn from and adopt? And for the things that are not working for me in the story, why are they not working, so that I know to avoid them in my own writing? To me, everything I read is just an opportunity to get a little better at writing. That being said, going through this contest and actually comparing my ratings to other people, I'm very kind, I'm very honest, but I am very analytical and a little harsh on my reviews, I will be honest. As far as like ratings that like go out on like Amazon and Goodreads and stuff like that, I'm very generous with that, because I know that's a rigged system that you don't really have a lot of control over. But the things I say in my review, I'm going to be very honest with what worked and what did not work for me.
Mike Cahoon made a message a while back I just missed. So Amazon, update on Amazon. They delete reviews when it detects relationships between the reviewer and the author.
Yep. Someone told me that earlier on Threads. I posted about it. Someone on Threads, I don't really know her, but she's an author. She said that a lot of authors that are interconnected in general have had all their reviews taken down. So Amazon is finding like these links, these in-depth links, and ripping them all down and banning some people from reviewing ever again.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That seems like the wrong move.
It is a weird move, and especially in a time where Amazon should be milking everything that all the other companies are doing wrong, like Drafted Digital and everything. They should be milking all this and being like, we love you, indies. We love you, self-pubs. Keep coming. But it almost just feels like, yeah, we're going to slap you because everybody else is slapping you. So who cares? You're just indies. You're going to publish anyways because you don't have an option.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Oh, yes, Mike. We love when you do.
It is, Mike.
I think this actually makes sense for Amazon. And I'll tell you why. Because, one, they do not care about any of us as authors. They don't care. What they care about is their customer, who is the reader. So if the four of us are like, hey, let's read everyone's books and give everything 5 stars, then we are jacking up ours artificially. That's hurting the reader, because Amazon wants you to stay with them instead of everything's a 5 fest, and everything's a 5. You can't tell. So it's for the reader. That's why they're doing this. Especially early on, I had so many writers like, you read my book, I'll read yours. We'll give them each 5 stars. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that, because I probably have to, well, some of them I'd really have to lie a lot. The one author who I will not mention her name, but we're like, we'll read each other's books. I'm like, look, I will give you an honest review, and if it's not 4 or 5 stars, I will send it to you first, and I'll say, this is what I'm going to review. This is my rating. If you want me to post, I will. If not, doesn't hurt my feelings. And so she read my book and gave me 5 stars, And then she read the second book in the series and gave me 5 stars. He read the third book in the series and gave it 5 stars. I'm like, oh God, I really have to read this. So I started reading it, and I was like, okay, I got 5 chapters in. Here's my biggest problem with this book. It's 80,000 words, and it should be 65. You tell me the same thing 2 and 3 times in each chapter. It really needs a better editor. I can give you 3.5 stars, which I will round up to 4 because you can't do half stars. I'm like, and that's generous. It's really a 3-star, or maybe, I'm like, but this is my review, and I said, do you want me to post it or not? And she's like, all 7 of my reviews are 5 stars. I don't want that ruined. I'm like, fine. And then she's like, and I gave your 3 books 5 stars. And I'm like, I didn't ask for it. I said explicitly that, I am not trading. So.
But then you're calling in ethics. I mean, I, as an author, think it's unethical to do that. Trading reviews
I agree.
is unnecessary. And I think also 4 stars is great. No, but the problem is, like you said, Amazon doesn't want you to have all 5 stars, but they don't want you to have 3 stars. And their 1 stars are crazy weighted. So it's really, really rigged. Either give a 10-star system, a half-star system, or don't try not to mess with the reviews so intensely, because you don't want us to get 5s. But if we get 1s, it screws us in the algorithm, and you might just dock our book and not show it to anybody unless they search it. It's kind of
but Amazon doesn't care if you get a 1 star. Why that doesn't hurt them. That there's 19 million other books that they can show the people instead of yours. So if you get a 1 star, who cares? 3 star, they don't. It's the 5 stars. If everybody's score is inflated, then you can't tell anything.
Yeah.
I mean, when I look at books, I'll read a couple of the 5 stars, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm done. I'll usually 3 stars are where it's at, because it'll tell you I like this, I did not like that, and like Michael's reviews when he says this is what I liked, this is what I didn't. That's where you can really learn, because you're like, well, I like that. I like the fact that there's no romance in this book. That's great. So I like to read 3-star reviews. Even 2-star reviews, I think, are better. 4 stars sometimes, but 5 stars are kind of worthless.
I read 3s mostly, 3s and 4s. I like 3s the most. Even my 3-star review on my book is my favorite review I've ever gotten. And the author reached out to me. It's a fellow author. I don't really know them. I don't have a personal relationship with them. They're like, hey, I read your book. Do you want me to post this? I was like, that's a great review. I was like, go ahead. And she was like, well, I don't know, because, some people get mad. And I'm like, first of all, 3-star is still actually technically good. Maybe not on Amazon standards, but to me, it's good. And it's the most in-depth and fair, impartial review that I've ever received. And I like that about it. Maybe it docks me in the algorithm, whatever. Like, that's life. But I read reviews of, I go through all the indie authors and read their 1 stars for fun, because I'm interested in what people say about them. But in the case of Mike Molman loving asking random questions, I have 3 questions to ask you both that are random. And this is in Mike Molman's honor. And Isaac doesn't know about this because I just randomly did it. Because everybody knows Mike Molman loves to ask T-Rex or Griffin, blah, blah, blah. And then all these off-the-wall questions.
Always important, yeah.
So I have 3 actually. It's a 3-part question, but I'll go to each of you for one part at a time. Who wins in one-on-one battle? Alexander the Great or Julius Caesar?
One-on-one?
Yep.
Oh, I know. I have an answer.
Go ahead.
Julius Caesar. Easy.
Ooh. What makes you say that?
I think Alexander the Great, he was wonderful. I mean, he's the one who dove into the city wall by himself, and his men had to charge the city. He would motivate you, but if it's one-on-one, you're not motivating your troops. It's just, and Julius Caesar's just too analytical. I think he wins easy.
I don't know. It's hard to say, because first of all, my grasp of history is shaky, but I don't think either of them were known for being personal warriors.
Alexander cut that knot.
He did cut the knot. And Julius Caesar did lead and kill.
Julius Caesar. Alexander cut that knot. Julius Caesar got stabbed.
He did kill but he did kill a bunch of pirates that loved him.
And he told him he was going to do it. He's like, I'm going to come back and kill you all. And he did. And they let him live when he told them that. So,
Well, I think
I'll have to agree with Caesar then.
Okay. I didn't know about the pirates.
Yeah.
He was also known to lead his men into the front. I don't know. I mean, Alexander was too, I think, to some extent, but I think Alexander relied on his army a lot, and I think Mike is right about the analytics. Julius Caesar is probably still the greatest commander ever as far as analytical thinking goes.
Okay.
I mean, I watch too many war videos, but okay. Second part: Rand al'Thor or Radagast?
Oh, God. None of the above.
Radagast dies.
Yeah.
I think Randolph Thor.
I think we already have the answer.
I mean, I'd have to go with Rand, and I don't like. Well, I haven't read the Wheel of Time. I like the first season. No one likes the first season, but since I know nothing about the story, it was fine.
That's fair. Okay, and then
who was
this one should be
first,
fun.
Caesar or Alexander?
Alexander.
Alexander was 300 years prior.
Yeah.
Okay, so Caesar tamed Britain according to Mosley.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Well, most of
Well,
them.
he invaded, and then he had to go back and become emperor. So
Yeah, twice. Okay,
Who's busy?
third
Caesar's
part.
sounding pretty manly.
Oh yeah, Caesar's the man. He's also like a sexual deviant supposedly. So, but so was Alexander.
Ah.
So who knows?
They all
Actually,
were back then.
all the great people were. Yeah, everybody was a sexual deviant. It's fine. Except for Jesus,
Power
I guess.
grabs.
Who wins between GRRM and Sanderson?
Like in a
In
fight?
what?
Yeah, in a battle.
well, GRRM can't finish anything, so Sanderson.
I think even
I'll have to
if
give
he
it to
gave them
Sanderson.
boxing gloves and put him in a ring, I think Sanderson would destroy poor George.
There's an
George
age
is-
difference there.
I haven't seen George walk ever. I've only ever seen him sit in a little chair and like, hello everyone, we're dragons. Sanderson is like, I'm signing books. Here I go. I'm going to talk, answer questions. And I
But
think
it would be the funniest fight ever because
it'd be very
Sanderson's-
funny because Sanderson has so much energy, and
Yeah, he does.
George does not have any energy. So I'm pretty sure that Sanderson would body George definitely.
But what if?
I mean-
but George is cunning, and Sanderson's nice. What if George is like, Sanderson writes these more heroic stuff. GRM writes this pretty dark stuff. What if GRM's like, okay, I yield, and then he like, nut punches him or stabs him in the calf with a hidden knife?
No, seriously,
George goes,
Sanderson's just going to go.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
how he's going to fight.
Exactly.
But since George, needs a cane, he's going to get toppled over, and then he won't be able to get up, and he won't have his, alarm thing to tell people that I'm fallen and I can't get up. So yeah, then it ends.
A life
But I
alert.
can picture Sanderson being like, slapping him and being like, just quit, and GRM being like, okay, and then eye gouging him. Like I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see that happening because Sanderson seems like a
Just
nice guy.
because
He's
his
like,
books are dark doesn't mean it reflects on
George
them, man.
starts throwing Game of Thrones money and just drowns them.
Your show's
So
not even
Mike-
out yet.
Mike talking about reviews, he says he's a reader first and reviewer second. And as a fan of certain genres, he finds himself enjoying most books in those genres, at least somewhat. So
Me too.
Mike likes to hang out in the same kind of neighborhoods. He's nostalgic for certain kinds of books. So that colors his view of the story. So that's a major thing. So when you guys are judging and it's in a genre you really like, are you ever blind to flaws, or do you have to like take a step back? Okay, this is a problem. This is a problem.
Oh, I think I'd be worse.
Mm.
I mean, one of my favorite books is still Sunset Sovereign, cozy fantasy. I've read like 2 cozy fantasies, and I hated one of them. And Sunset Sovereign is amazing. It's just such a surprise because I read it. For me, if you want me to love your book, I have to get surprised at some point because I'm old. I've read a lot of books, and I'm usually like, I know how this ends. I know how this ends. And if you can like come up with something that makes sense without, just taking a left turn and you've never supported this and I'm going to do something crazy, if you can do that and surprise me, you win. I mean, this book is basically straight-laced cowboy against a werewolf. I don't like Westerns. I talked to J.R. White, who wrote that, and he keeps talking about Louis L'Amour and how his books are so amazing. And I'm like, let me stop you there. Louis L'Amour is good for exactly one thing, and that's curing insomnia. So there's no reason why I should like this book, but I mean, it just hits. Wistful Ascending is another. All these books up here, are either my favorites or else they put me in there and they killed me. Um, I want to convert those that everyone has killed me, and that'll be the top shelf there. But
Nice.
not enough people have killed me yet.
That's my goal, and something that Mike's going to be promoting here in a couple minutes is I want to have the most deaths in it. It's what I put in our group. I want to be killed the most.
I would say like I mostly read like sci-fi, fantasy, and romance. Like those are the three genres that I stick with. Every once in a while, I'll jump into a classic like John Steinbeck or something like that. But I'm pretty dedicated to mostly reading those three things. I'm still pretty critical, and I think me getting critical has actually gotten worse the more that I read because, like Mike, like you're saying, I've seen a lot now. I read about 50 books a year, and I've been reading for a long time. This means I'm going to be very familiar with tropes. I'm going to be very familiar with the standard path of a story. You can still give me the standard path, but you got to give it to me in an interesting way in order to get me excited about it.
Cool.
That's going to be different versus a more casual reader who has read Dungeon Crawler Carl and not much else.
Right.
Someone who's coming from that and then getting into the book world, or like Red Rising or something like that, some other like fantasy staple that really pulls people into reading again, they are going to be more excited about a lot more things. Like they're going to read Mistborn for the first time and have their mind blown. I still love Mistborn, but now I look back at it and I see like, okay, it did a lot of things really well, but it did ham fist some of the emotional payoff there. I still love the story, but I can see it for a more accurate picture for what it is. It's not a perfect story, but it is enjoyable.
You guys are so much more hardcore than I am. I just read a book and I'm like, this is awesome. Loved it. Like, doesn't even matter. But like, even by the end, even if some of the Wheel of Time books, I'm like, 300 pages of nothing has happened. All of a sudden, there's like a 2-page battle scene, and I'm like, greatest book ever. It's fine. That's how I am with literally everything because I really get very enthralled. I arc read for a fellow indie in January. The sex scenes really threw me off just because it's not my thing. I just think sex scenes are funny. They make me laugh like a high schooler. I just giggle. Some of the terms that are used, I'm just like, would never even say this in my life. So they throw me off. But the rest of the book was great to me. And I was like, I like the world. I like the characters. I don't really care. I can let go of this little part I didn't love because nothing's really going to be perfect. Lord of the Rings is not perfect, not to everybody. A Song of Ice and Fire is not perfect to everybody. Nothing's going to be perfect to everybody. So for me, and me and a few other authors that I do talk to, we talk about this because some are hypercritical and some of us, we just read to enjoy it. And it doesn't mean that we're not picking out things that we don't like, but we really let ourselves be engulfed by it. And I think it's hard for a lot of other authors because we're constantly editing our own work. We're beta reading for others. We're doing contests like you guys. So it's hard to get out of the frame of mind of what would I do in this book? I find a lot of authors have that problem is I wouldn't do this. And I don't get in that mindset. I mean, sometimes like in the Wheel of Time, sorry, spoiler alert, killing Asmodean is one of my least favorite book moves ever. And I think it was stupid. And I think it could have been a lot better, but it's fine. It's not my book. So I deal with it. I cry about it, but I deal with it. But I really try not to implement what I would do or what I want out of a story. And I've seen reviews of other people be like, this book didn't do this because I expected this. I wanted this. This is not how I would write it. And I don't think that's a fair way to critique a book.
No, that's not.
I try really hard to take my expectations away from a book.
Now, I will say there's one book I was reading that was a SPIFBO finalist. And I'm reading it, and I'm like, this is the tropiest trope. I mean, just center of the road. I'm like, I know what's going to happen. I can tell you what's going to happen in 100 pages, in 200 pages. I mean, you are not. And I mean, I just kept reading. I'm like, I'm bored. I am so bored because I know everything is going to happen because you did not deviate from. And I'm like, how did this make it to the finals? And I mean, I guess it was well written. I mean, absolutely well written, but I was bored. I DNF'd it. I know that shocks you.
It's very shocking. I mean, before we get into our cover review, going off of that, Mike, do you guys, as judges, or in your group even, Michael, do you find, or does anybody find that prose can alleviate flaws in a story? Because a lot of people are very prose people. I don't even know if some people pay attention to some things in the story as much as they pay attention to the prose. Me, I don't really care about prose. It doesn't really faze me as a reader. I can read anything from middle grade to literature, and it doesn't really impact me, unless it's like super purpley and I forget everything that happened because of all the fancy words. But have you experienced or do you experience that prose can outweigh flaws in a storyline or flaws in characters or anything else?
No.
I would say absolutely not.
So I will tell you, for me, if you want me to be happy, I need a complete story. You have to have characters that aren't cardboard. You have to have a plot, which is why I hate Lord Grimdark. You have to have a setting that is at least mildly interesting. It can't be a white featureless room. I have to have everything. I have to be beginning, middle, end. If it ends in a cliffhanger and like you have to buy the next book, I'm like, no, you're dead to me. I will never buy another book by you because I get a whole story if I buy your book. So give me a whole story. The people are like, I'm characters reader. I'm like, you're just pretentious. Shut up. I have a lot of friends, as you can tell.
The modern cliffhanger is an issue to me in indie books specifically. That is an issue, is that there shouldn't actually be. I think people also get ending hooks and cliffhangers confused more often than they should, because a book should have a resolution, which means there shouldn't be a cliffhanger. There should be a hook if you're continuing, but there should not be a cliffhanger. And I think that is an actual issue that I do agree with you, Mike. I agree with, if there's a cliffhanger in a book, if I know it, I won't buy the book. Because to me,
to my shame, A Song of Bones has a cliffhanger.
Oh, really?
But only because it's not a true book one. I didn't chop it up; it was too big. So I'm purposely not marketing Song of Bones until book 2 is out as well. Then I can have a free book one day and get book 2 day, 2 for 1 deal.
Nice.
But for me, I used to say that I'm a prose guy. Because I love a well-written book. And then I read a book, the prose sucked so bad, but the characters were so good.
He's talking about me.
So I'm talking about Timothy. No, I forget what book. It was a stupid book. I still think it was stupid. I wouldn't review it very high, like in quality, but my enjoyment was oddly very high. So I am very difficult to please. But in some situations, you can sneak a crap book past me if your characters are fun enough. So I think I'm a character guy, as long as they don't like ruin the ending, like Mike is saying. But my perfect book has amazing characters and good prose. That's what I want. But if I have to cut one of them, I will let prose take a backseat, as long as it's not like unreadable. I like the fun characters.
For me, if I notice the prose, that's a bad sign. The one compliment that I heard an author get that I would just kill for is the one person told Palmer Pickering that her writing prose is like window glass, because you have no idea what her prose is because you're so sucked into the story that you're like, I don't know, what was her writing like? I don't know, but let me tell you about this story. And I would kill to get a compliment like that. Feel free, anybody? But so if you're saying, does prose matter to you? I'm like, if I'm noticing it, that's a problem. That means that someone's side was exasperated 16 times, or they pulled on their braid 472 times, or if I notice it, it's a problem. Otherwise, I don't want to notice. I don't. And people would say it's so pretty. I'm like, I'm not reading it. I will hate it.
The braid tug, I will admit, as a Wheel of Time lover, the braid tug does get obnoxious. There's only so often you need to know that he even admits it in his writing, basically. On book 11 right now, he even admits, like, Nynaeve doesn't tug her braid because everybody expects it. Like, yeah, I even expect it. Every time Nynaeve's name comes up, I assume she's tugging her braid and that she's pissed off. So as far as stuff like that, I mean, prose to me, I'm very character driven. If you give me a character-based novel or just a fun storyline, which is weird because I don't want to read Matt Dinniman, but it's really because I don't like his covers. I refuse to read him because I hate his covers. Sorry, Matt Dinniman, you're way cooler than me and way more famous. I just don't like your covers. But if prose don't really bother me, unless your prose are like, I did try to read 50 Shades of Grey, like I've mentioned, and those prose, that's the only prose that I've ever read that bothered me. I think it was less the prose and more of, first of all, I felt like the words were repeated every 10 seconds. Like every word was repeated. And it was just like this weird, I read like, I think 12 pages. And it just felt like I was just going around in this weird circle talking about body parts but by different terms. And I was like, nope, can't do this anymore. And I like closed it and gave it to the girl I was dating and was like, please don't bring this to my apartment anymore. I can't do it.
I don't know. I would say I'm kind of like middle of the road here because like Mike, I need a full complete story. I think every book should have some kind of resolution. You can still do cliffhangers, you can still do like hook endings and stuff like that, but that book should resolve the story that we started in this book.
Yep.
It can still be part of a greater story, but you can't lose that this is a single story. This is one book. As far as like prose, character, world building, all those things, for me, it's mostly a balance. Like good characters can make up for bad prose. Good prose can make up for bad characters, but there is a limit to how much you can pay for one using the other. That being said, there is like one thing that I feel that kind of like undercuts all of this is I don't think this might be a hot take. I don't think world building should be the best thing in your book. Like if that's
I
the
agree.
best thing in your
Yes.
book, your book
Wow.
has suffered.
Oh, you agree, Isaac? I disagree. Okay, Mike, tell us
I
if you
do-
agree
I-
or disagree.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, world building is important, but I think you're right. If the only thing I remember were the trees and the stream, then that's a problem. I mean,
Great. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, I'm very much give me a story. I need a plot. I have to have a plot, you know. And I used to say I'm a plot person, and everyone's like, "Well, I'm a character person." I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever." So now I'm just like, I want a complete story because honestly, I want characters that aren't cardboard because I've read some books. I'm like,
Yeah.
these are terrible. God, I know Robert can do better. No,
Oh, I mean, I could do better, especially in my book one. I am character driven, but I mean, I'm reading A Wheel of Time and I've read A Song of Ice and Fire. And the world building is totally separate, totally different. And I think this is one of the things I always say about GRM, and I am a fanboy, but his world building is so incredible, but it's not necessarily his best thing because he does have these crazy storylines and these interesting
Yeah.
characters. But the Wheel of Time, like Mike just said, mentions what kind of trees are there constantly. And I do agree in that way. I don't need to know what kind of tree we're passing in every chapter. I don't need to know, and I'm not going to remember what trees are in what country. Maybe for a brisk
I
moment.
just need to know if are the trees happy or sad. That's all. That's all you need to know.
All I need to know if they're barren or if they have leaves. I don't know the shape of a freaking gum tree. I don't even know what that looks like. I have to go Google your
Just
tree.
say
I
gum
don't-
tree. Gum tree.
Yeah.
Oh, what's a gum tree? I don't know.
Yeah,
The
tell me
reader
if
will
it's like
think of something.
tell me if it's a palm tree or an evergreen. That gives me all I really need to know. And then we can go from there. Or an oak or whatever. I don't care. But like
Yeah.
giving me these off the wall trees, I'm not gonna remember. Giving me, I don't know, just random world building stuff. And I think that's the difference between great world building and subpar world building.
Yeah.
Should we get into our cover rating? Because we're over an hour now.
Yes. Speaking of world building, The Wolves of War. My segue didn't work. This is by John Gwynne, who is a tour de force by one of fantasy's greatest writers.
Gosh, I hate the
42.
quotes. I hate the quotes on covers, but I love the cover, so it's okay. I forgive it because the cover, first of all, is like my favorite cover I've seen this year. I just think it's crazy immaculate. I love the smoky feel. I love the wolf face. I love the intensity. I also kind of love how it goes, like shifts left to right with your eye. I feel like a lot of covers that we see are dead center, and this one kind of like plays this left to right feel. I do hate the quote though. Hate the quote.
Yeah. This cover to me feels it feels like it's a bestseller at Barnes and Noble. And I'm not sure if I'd pick it up. I might read the back of it, and if it doesn't sound generic, I might read the first couple of pages. But I like that it's not just a it's kind of a break from the normal lazy modern covers. There is some art there.
Yeah.
And I like that guy's fingers.
They are good fingers.
I like they're kind of gross.
In general, like this is a really beautiful piece of art. Would it make me pick up the book? I actually don't know because I think I would have a hard time picking this book out of a wall of books.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. The typography is really good. This is a really good fantasy art piece.
Yeah,
But
it is
isn't
promising
anything.
aggression. It's
Yeah.
promising aggression and conflict, and that's
But
not
there's nothing
usually what I
about it
gravitate
that's
toward.
yeah. It's not giving me anything that goes like, I'm gonna pick this up out of the 30 books that I see.
Really, I'd snag it so fast. If I walked in and
I
saw
feel
this, I'd be like, hell yeah.
I
He,
don't know. Like it does got
looks
that
a
like
little bit
Elden
like
Ring
Elden Ring.
vibe.
It does a
Yeah,
little
I could
bit.
see that.
So
mean-
for me,
Go ahead,
there's
Mike.
no color here.
Yeah.
Everything is kind of washed out. If they had
It's very
one like
cold.
red ruby somewhere to draw the eye, but I mean,
Yeah.
I would just, like Michael said, I would just scan right past this. There's nothing that holds my eye. I mean, when I look at him, like, yeah, the wolf is kind of cool. The guy is cool. I'm like, but there's nothing there that promises me something I want to read.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cover itself doesn't tell a story.
I actually thought it was. I've never read his books. I thought it would be grimdark, but apparently it's not, according to Google. Which surprises
I
me.
would have guessed on this based on this cover. I would have said definitely grimdark.
I would have too.
What are
but
they calling
according to Google, that's not what comes up. It just says epic fantasy. Let me
Oh,
see.
well, epic fantasy is generic enough that it can be dark or light because like Brandon
This is-
Sanderson is epic fantasy, but so is like John Gwynn. And from what I know from him, he writes kind of like brutal things, right? Not as brutal as like Joe Abercrombie, but
There are grimdark tones. It says there are
Yeah.
grimdark
This is-
themes. So
This is promising me kind of Game of Thrones kind of content, I imagine, because we got the coldness to it. We
yeah.
got that wolf. We got the and the of in the title.
Whoever
I
said
love
this
the
promises
title.
aggression is absolutely right. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I get from this cover. And when you
Oh, yeah.
take this off, I'll forget what it looks like because it's not leaving any. Again, it needs
Really?
something to draw the eye to it, and it's just
Yeah.
all gray. I mean, even the gold is washed out gold. It needs
See, I
something.
love
The
that.
sword needs to be shinier, something.
I was
and I
about to say, I like that the sword is shimmering. I like that the smoke plays with the title. I
It's
like that.
beautiful art.
I
mean, I
love
guess
the interaction
because-
with the title. Yes, the
Yeah.
title interaction is very good. I like that. It's just this isn't telling any kind of story. Like if this guy was hunting the wolf in the cover art, or if the wolf was hunting the guy, this is just two things looking cool.
You're not getting
I
the vibe-
imagined it
you're not
was a
getting the vibe
warrior
that
with a
the
wolf
wolf-
spirit.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You're not
Okay.
getting the vibe that the wolf and the man are the same. It's like you're on the prowl, you're at war, you're at battle, you're a predator.
Yeah.
Like if you're on the battlefield,
Sure,
you're the
it-
predator.
It promises vibes and things, but it doesn't tell me a story. I don't look at this picture and I don't immediately think, here's a story. There was a guy, I forget his name. He was hired by Disney in the 80s. He was this kid in Mexico. He would he would draw pictures and send them to Disney. Like, oh, I want to be an animator. And they're like, sure, good stuff. Keep at it. He finally made it to California at some fair where Disney was looking at portfolios, and they came to his portfolio, and they're going through his pictures, and he drew everyone's attention because while everyone else was drawing, cool animals or people, spaceships and designs, and he was drawing people doing things. The image that drew everyone to the table, he drew two luchadors standing back to back, not looking at each other, as the crowd around them was raging. And they're like, what's happening here? Like, oh, they're best friends. They don't want to fight. Like, oh, so every single one of his images told a story. It said something. So when you're gonna do an image, when you're gonna produce some art, it might as well tell a story as well as look cool. So this looks cool, but it's not telling me any story. It's not. I mean, we got the wolf and we got the guy. I can assume this is a spirit that's with the guy, but they're just sitting there looking cool.
Okay, rate it for us, Isaac. Lead us off in the rating.
I would give this. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. I mean,
Wow.
it from my marketing brain, this is going to sell books because it looks like Game of Thrones. It looks like it's a cool epic fantasy. But I don't expect people buying this to actually read it. I just expect them to buy cool thing. So
Okay, Mike
for
Nolan.
selling books, I would say 6 out of 10 as a book cover. As a piece of art, I think I'd give it a 5 out of 10.
Wow, crazy. Okay, now I got to
Wow.
hear what Mike says. Mike, you're second on the screen. Go ahead.
So I would give the opposite. I would say the cover is a 5 out of 10. Art would be a 6 out of 10.
Wow.
But yeah,
Okay,
not
well,
I mean, it's not terrible, but I'm not. This would not be something I'd pick up.
you guys are way wild, way different than me. I give it a 9 out of 10, and the only reason it's a 9 is because I hate the quote on covers. If a book has a quote on the cover, I automatically dock it a point because I hate it.
That sells books. That's
It
why
does.
people buy the book. It's got the little tiny words at the bottom. Oh, that means buy.
See, for me, it means you're ruining the cover, and it's annoying me, and I want to flick it off.
Yeah,
Tim, we agree.
All that means is I'm going to sell you the deluxe edition later.
Yep.
That's true.
No, you're not.
Okay, Michael.
Well, not you, Mike. This is hard because this is objectively, I think this is a beautiful cover. It does a lot of things that are really cool, but I do need some color. I need something to draw my eye. And right now, there's nothing that's really like pulling me. I love the wolf spirit coming out of the warrior. I think there is a bit of a story here because something like this looks like an aggressive spirit within a stoic warrior battling your inner demons kind of thing is what I'm getting pulled from this. But if I'm looking at this on a shelf, my eye is just going to keep going because it looks like so many other covers I've seen. It's beautiful
Haters.
art. I'll give the art an 8, but I'll give this as overall as a book cover, I would give it a 6.
John Gwynn, ignore them. You're more famous than all of us combined. They're crazy.
Oh yeah, he's not being hurt by me.
John
doing
Gwynn
great.
did not have any input at all
That's
for
true.
the
He did not.
cover.
He did not. Mike Cahoon, rate it. I know you're here. Rate it for us real quick.
Why is
Yes,
he
Mike
in
can rate
here?
it. Mike said he liked it. Mike says it made him think of fantasy werewolves.
Yeah.
See, it made me think of berserkers or whatever. Are they? I can't remember if they're Vikings.
If this
or
guy was changing into a wolf and was like shedding clothing, that'd be so much cool. That tells me something.
so picky, so picky. While we're waiting on Mike Cahoon to give us his rating, if Mike Molman would like to go ahead and take it away for the announcement that's already been made for something that we're all a part of.
So, yes, we are going to have an anthology, the Rings of Adventure anthology. Kickstarter will be September 1st. There are 36 authors. You're going to get a new story every day in December, and since we can't count very well, you'll get 2 stories on Fridays. But yeah, we have, as Ro likes to say, we selected authors. We didn't put like an open call and hope we get good. We actually selected the people. So these are the people we wanted to do an anthology with. All 3 of my cohorts here are authors in this. I've read one of the 3 stories from these guys, and I really liked Michael's. I have not read Tim's yet, and I haven't seen Isaac's. So
You have read mine. You literally edited mine.
that was the first draft. You did like
Oh,
6 more drafts after that.
That was like second draft, I think. But yeah,
Oh.
well, I am on draft 8 now. Now I have my 8th set of eyes on it, and I'm done after that. I don't care anymore. It's too many.
I hope to have my draft done this week. I hope.
I believe in you.
Well, I'm a tryhard,
Rip
and
it
I
apart.
already.
Rip it apart. If it's not good, I can start over.
So
Well,
if
Mike-
it's not this good, we're just going to tell you to write another one.
I mean,
Okay,
Mike
will
Molman
do.
did make EL write his, I don't know, 4 stories or something.
Poor
He's
Eli
writing the
had to
4th
write
one
over
now.
and over and over again. Oh, yeah.
Well,
Now, Mike earlier was saying that unless a book surprises him and wows him, he doesn't like it. He liked my book. He liked Garden Maze, so
that was a wicked little book. I love that
I will
book.
take that stamp of approval.
Wow.
And
Very
I will
nice.
be reading this one eventually. Probably not until after I read my 3 Ivor books because I really need to get started on those.
You haven't started one of them yet?
Well, I started one because it's an
He's got 2
audio book,
months.
and I have an 11-hour drive coming up on Thursday, so I have high hopes.
Just so everybody knows, Mike Cahoon rated the cover an 8 out of 10. So at least me and Mike Cahoon have good taste. That's why Mike is my bestie. But yes, so do we not have we should have got a picture of the anthology. Probably should have thought about that. Did not do it.
Oh, that would be a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I did get invited to it, which was cool, and I did my story instantly because I figured if I didn't do it, then I would not get it done. Mike and Ro both were so kind to rip it apart And then EL actually gave me the best feedback out of anybody. His feedback was so good. Super thankful to him. He was, there we go. Nice. There it is, everybody. So
okay,
if you want to
let's
go,
rate this cover now.
I don't want to do it because I'm not the biggest.
We're biased.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's hard for
10
me
out of
because I'm
10.
friends with the artist and I'm in the book. So yeah, I'm not going to rate it. But
Oh, wow,
I
think
love
that
it.
says
I
more,
love
Mike.
how homemade it is. It's very homemade. I could tell this. I'm sure it's digital, but it doesn't feel digital.
it is
feels
not
like
digital.
paint on paper.
It's not digital.
Oh, it's not.
It is not digital.
Oh, I love it.
I actually
Matt,
I think I had expectations, so I was let down with my own expectations. So it's not even anything against it. It's just that my expectations were so different that I was like, oh, that's not what I had imagined at all, which is my fault.
Has
Mike
the
Cahoon
full?
admitted.
I know we don't have the stories yet, but has the full spread been designed yet, like back cover and stuff?
there are various iterations. I'm looking to see if I don't have one handy though.
Yeah, you don't have to announce it here.
But I will
Mike
tell
Cahoon
you.
did
You want to hear the
art.
story behind this art?
Yes.
Go ahead, Mike.
So Fearless Row went to Matt and it's like, this is what I want. I want this. And Matt told me this story 2 days ago. Because I saw him at the Comic-Con. And he's like, after Row was done, he's like, okay, I don't understand anything he said. What genres are going to be there? He's like, fantasy, horror, romance, sci-fi. He goes, okay, so if I do something that has those, he goes, yeah, dragon. Has to have a dragon. And that was all the input Row got. He's like, okay, go away. I'll show you. And then this was what he came up with, because whatever Row said was just a word salad. And he's like, I don't understand. Just tell me what you want. So that is how and Matt Slay is amazing. So these covers here, well, that's my cover. These will be my covers if I get around to writing them. He draws on paper. He gives you the original artwork, and he does not sign it. He's like, it's yours. Sign it. Tell people you drew it if you want. I don't care. You paid me my money.
That's amazing.
I like that. That's super cool. Maybe I'll consider him one day when I actually make money off of a book. But just so I don't know what everybody else's story is, just so everybody knows, my story does involve furry creatures. So keep that in mind. And my art is coming. One of our fellow authors in the anthology is doing my art right now. Actually, she's been messaging me about it, and she's a godsend because I'm terrible to work with when it comes to art. She's like, do you want this or this? And I'm like, I don't know what those mean. And then she's like, let me show you. And she shows me, and I'm like, I have no idea. What do you think is better? So she really asks me, and I'm just like, I trust you because my visual arts are awful. And she's super sweet. I've never really interacted with her. She's very nice. She does great work from everything she sent me. But she presents me with a lot of terminology that I don't know and never learned in high school art class. So my art teacher sucked.
Well, if you're going to be tooting that horn so much, why don't you say who your artist is so that people can know to look for her so that they can possibly get art by her as well?
That's how you know Michael is a podcaster. He's out podcasting me right now. He's calling my preparation. I don't know how to say her last name. That's the problem. It's Miriam, but I don't know if her last name. Yeah. Okay, it is Yvette.
Yeah.
Yvette. Okay. Yeah, she's super great. Never interacted much. I've seen her around the community. She
does everything on Canvas too, doesn't she?
Yep. Yeah, she does. That's what she posted in one of the groups. Was, oh, I had to paint these for a show because I guess she sells them at shows or whatever. And then I'll get in everybody's. So she finished her painting, posted it, and then messaged me and was like, do you want this, or this? And I'm just like, she actually had me hand draw her a sketch, and it's the worst sketch you'll ever see in your life. And she's like, no, this is better than anybody ever gives me. I was like, wow, I'm a positive person, but you are very nice because it is not.
Well, those little sketches that people give are very, very helpful. If you're designing something and you need to do some work for somebody else, if they describe something, we can work off of that, yes. But if they give us a stupid little sketch, that's so valuable because that gives me the tone you want. It gives me the personality you want. It gives so much. Just line weight is valuable.
I was just so shocked because I was like, this is so awful. And I made all these arrows, and I was like, this is what this is supposed to be. This is what this is supposed to be. She's
That's
like,
so helpful. Great. That's exactly what we want.
So, can I tell a story real quick? So for this one, which I have not written yet, but I have the cover.
There you
I
go.
had to draw what I wanted, and I drew it, and he's like, "Well, this guy here, he's playing the flute." I'm like, "No, he's in a spacesuit, and the gas is escaping." He's like, "No, he's playing the flute." He's like, "And what's this over here?" And I had to explain. He did not understand what anything was, and I had to tell him. And then in like under a minute, he's like, "So this is what you mean?" And he drew over top of my sketch, and I'm like, "Oh my god, that's so good. I'll take that."
That's awesome. That's actually probably my favorite thing I've seen done for your stuff, Mike. That one's actually really nice. That's
very pretty.
That's what my tattoo artist did, because I had a bunch of shitty tattoos. And I wanted a bison, and it was going to be down here originally. He's like, "Yeah, I can do that, or I can," and he takes out a Sharpie and just starts coloring all over my arm. And he's like, "Or I could do this," and I was like, "Do that." So he did my whole arm, and I was like, "Okay."
Nice.
And I think that's something I lack as an author, is I have no visual art capability. Isaac can do it all because he's incredible. I cannot. So when artists are asking me, I'm like, I don't know.
Anymore, I give my artist, I'm like a paragraph. I'm like, "This is the scene. Now pick whatever angle you want, but this is what's happening. Draw it." And then he'll give me like a sketch, and I'm like, "Yeah, I never would have thought to do that." I always, when we start, I'm like, "Okay, I want these 5 people. I want them all standing next to each other, staring back at you soullessly, like it's a police lineup." And he's like, "Or we could do this and have some dynamic action going on." I'm like, "Oh, that's an option."
I'm having a cover done right now for a space fantasy novel or whatever. And my expectations weren't low. My thought process of what I would get is low because I had no idea. So I gave like a synopsis. And can I shout your brother? Can I shout it out, Isaac?
Yeah.
Okay. So Isaac's brother is doing it, and he sends me this plethora of these sketches, and I was like, I've never seen so many cool ideas. And I was like, how do I even pick one? I'm like sending them to all my friends that I know, like, which one do you like? Because they're all so good, and they're all these perspectives I never even would have thought of as the author. And then he's like, I want to have fun and do this. And he does it. And I'm like, dude, you're making too many good things. I can't pick. It's so incredible.
Just buy them all.
People think I'm artistic. I am not artistic. My brother is Da Vinci. He can do anything. He's literally. I walked in to see what he was. Say again, what?
And he's fast. Like he's good and
very fast.
It's crazy.
He's very fast.
Mm-hmm.
I walked in. So when he did my covers, for Song of Bones, it was very we went graphical because it was going to be easier. So these are different graphical elements, and he did some minor painting on the side and in the center. For your cover, he's like, I'm just gonna paint everything. And
I know, it's mind blowing.
Painting this massive thing, and it's gorgeous. It's amazing. He has light reflecting off glass and metal, and it's amazing.
Wow.
And he's so fun to work with. He's like, oh, I like that idea. And like I tell him one thing, he's like, okay. He's like, what about this? And gives me like 4 things. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, how are you even doing? I mean, as authors, we're like typing stuff, deleting stuff, typing stuff. But to see it presented visually and see all these like,
that's how he works. Yes.
See all these like sketches and all these different things and then these quick paints. And I don't know. It's absolutely incredible. It's mind blowing to me. Our cover artists are incredible. Great cover artists. They're more incredible. It's amazing to me. Before we go, because this is our longest show because we have great guests and so much to talk about. Okay. Why don't you both tell us, or not tell us, but tell everybody else where they can find you?
Okay, I will be at the Indiana Comic-Con this coming weekend.
Not what I meant, Mike. I didn't mean to find you to kidnap you. I meant to find you online. No, I'm just kidding.
So you can buy my books there live and talk to me if you really want to. Some people think that's fun. I don't know. But anyway, books are on Amazon, of course. I have 3 different series that I've started, and maybe by the end of this decade, I will finish 1 or 2 of them.
I believe in you, Mike.
That makes one of us.
Trust.
But yes, hello, folks. Just a reminder, I'm Mike Vadney. You can find this bad boy at michaelvadney.com, but you can also find it on like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, pretty much wherever you can find books, you can find this too. Yeah, you can find me on socials at Michael_Vadney and my YouTube channel, Author Adjacent, new episodes every Friday.
Mike Moment hasn't even
Mike,
picked
hold up
his
one
book
of your
yet.
books.
I was
Yeah,
going
I
to
was
say,
about to
Ro
say-
would be so mad if I did not do this. You can get this. I guarantee you it's one of the silliest things you will ever read.
Assuming everybody else has done it, I'm just going to lift up mine because I feel left out. Oh yeah, well Mike did lift up mine.
Yeah, we'll go to Mike. His camera's better.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, man, Mike's camera makes it look so much better than it does on mine.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
And then for everybody else that's listening, like and subscribe here where you're watching us. Like and subscribe on TikTok at Pen and Dragon _ pod. Instagram, the same thing. Mike Moment's got all the books.
Oh yes.
Just
Mike-
ordered Crown Paw.
Oh, nice. You can find us at Spotify, iHeartRadio, and the other one that I can't think, Apple. Sorry.
Type in
I think
podcast.
Amazon.
We're there.
Yeah, if there's a place to click us, you can find us and you can subscribe to us and you can buy all 4 of our books and Mike Cahoon, even though he's not here.
Yes.
And his book is The Scion Conspiracy, and his next book is coming out soon. So many books for you all to buy. You can, you should have just got paid on Friday probably, so you have money. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I have 6 books right now, or 5 books.
And
I can't count.
book collecting and book reading are 2 totally separate hobbies, so don't feel like you have to only buy one at a time.
Yeah,
buy
if
them
you
all.
if you want a shelf like Isaac or Mike Molman, there's plenty of books back there.
Mine just have
my
board
bookshelf is-
games.
Oh,
Yeah.
those are all board games? Even the ones up top?
These are board games. These are books. These are board
Okay.
games. These are my art books. Mike, you gotta see. This is my pride and joy. Right here. The Star Wars Episode 1 art book.
That's pretty
On
cool.
the back, we got wonderful Jar Jar sketch. we got so much Jar Jar in this book.
I just realized how
It's
much
beautiful.
Mike Molman reminds me of Jar Jar.
Misa thinks that's a meme.
But yeah, like and subscribe. You can also watch Bald and Balding, the author adjacent, or Isaac's other show that I all of a sudden am drawing a blank on.
All caps.
All
All
caps.
I wanted to say All Hats, and I was like, that does not sound right. I kept saying hats in my head. I was like, it's not hats. What is it? I am
get
an
there.
author, believe it or not. I know words. But thank you for joining us, both Mikes. Mike Cahoon will be back next week, and we will be having another guest that I am also drawing the blank on the name currently. I'm very hungry, so I can't remember anything. What is our guest name next week, Isaac?
Oh, I can
Kenny.
look. Hang on. It is.
Kenny something. Another
Where's his
author.
email? Where's his email? Where is it? It's right here.
Another
It is
wordsmith.
Kenny.
Yes.
Kenny Gold.
Wow, I can't remember that. That's terrible. Sorry, Kenny. He will be with us next week. We will be talking about more fun things. I will think of more random questions to toss out just to throw things off because I want to. And thank you for coming. Thank you for all those that commented, and thank you for those that are listening in the future from right this moment. And thank you
Like
for
and
our guests,
subscribe.
our judges. We look forward to.
Like
If you
and
guys haven't
subscribe.
read Mike's judgments in IBOR, you should, because it'll either make you feel better about yourself or it'll scare you. And then, Michael, yours are on the FanFi Addict blog, you said?
Fanfiaddict.com.
Hey, I remembered something. There we go. Great. If you want to read those reviews and see those books, you can go there. Other than that, thanks for joining us on Pen and Dragon, and have a great night or morning or whatever time it is there when you're listening to this.
Bye bye. Non